I think it's been 6 years.
Okay. And over that time, what we do is showcase the arts, the music, the performance art, and all of those things that are here in force in the North End. And it's something that, we invite the entire community to come out. We invite artists, local artists, to participate and do a piece for the art wall. And every year we have a different theme for the art wall.
What was the theme this last year?
This year, the theme was shaping your reality.
Awesome. So Matt, what made you think about doing an art wall?
And I always loved the art that people put on trains because I figure it's amazing what they can do in a train yard in the middle of the night in the dark. That they do some really beautiful things sometimes. They're usually just their names, but it was great. So I always liked that. Now, because we've moved the location, we used to have our festival right back here for the first 4 years, I think it was. And so they were all along the wall there and on the fence that you can see over there. And then when we moved our festival down here to the African American Expo shelter, I built some things on the back of the stage to hang the panels as a backdrop for the performers because it was perfect. I mean, it's the perfect thing as a backdrop. So afterwards, we've been lucky that the Center for the Arts has used some around town and a couple of parking ramps for an urban art display. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Shaviva, and I know one of these is yours, and I was wondering if you'd like to talk about yours just a bit.
Like I had mentioned before, with the theme, we asked the artists to give their interpretation of what that concept means to them. And when I thought about the idea of shaping your reality, being a parent, I usually think about children and the sorts of things that we can instill in our children. With the panel that I did, the idea that jumped into my head was from a picture of my friends holding up his first grandchild, and I thought about those things that we need to do for our children to make them better people, teach them, nurture them, show them love and respect, and all those things. And that was my inspiration for the panel that I did.
Wonderful. So shaping the reality of our youth to make.
We shape the reality of our children, and we shape our own reality at the same time, because these are the kind of people that we're going to be bringing up into the world. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys. I think I'm going to just walk down here and look at a few of these. That was awesome. Oh my goodness. Look who we found. We found Sean again. Sean,
Hey.
why are you here at the Arts North End Art Wall?
Well, I rode with you. No. Well, I'm here because I also, like Shaviva, was one of the artists that I participated in the North End Arts and Music Festival for probably about like 2 years now. The piece that we actually have here is one of the pieces that I did back in 2014, which, even though I am the curator at the Art Center, I also am an artist as well. And so one of the things that me participating in a community event like that is me showing a support for the arts in the area, and also being very active in kind of all of these different opportunities that the community has to participate and have their own expression to be seen. And so this particular work from 2014 is really an abstraction of the theme, and I think probably the biggest symbolism that's there, even though it's not representational or you can't recognize anything that's in there, if you look closely, there are pieces of old wood that have been salvaged from different areas, as well as new pieces of wood that have been collaged together in a kind of we are kind of an amalgam of our history as well as the new experiences that we have. And I think overall, like, that's kind of what I'm going for in the particular piece. Even though it's abstract and it's very stylized in my own kind of language, or visual language, if you will, it's definitely up to interpretation. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, good job, Sean. That's really nice. Should we go to another place to look at some more art?
Absolutely.
this thing?
Well, you know, at the amphitheater, of course, this is a place for performing arts, as you mentioned, where music and song and dance all tends to happen. And this sculpture, if anything, definitely embodies music and the joy and all kind of the melodies that kind of sway and swing, just like as if it was dancing. So is it a guitar? Is it a bass? I don't know. I think it's a very, very stylistic string instrument, personally. But the artist, Jerry Calger, ended up creating this piece. It's titled Sung Sung Blue. And so Jerry, just so you know, was an engineer at John Deere before he ended up going back to school to end up majoring in sculpture. So why would you say that the strings are kind of swaying? I mentioned dancing, but could it be that it's in a perpetual state of being played right now by the wind? I don't know. But I think it's really cool. So,
Should we look at some other artwork down here at the amphitheater?
yeah, why not?
Now we're turned and looking at the River Loop Amphitheater. Sean, tell us about this work.
This is probably not your traditional artwork, but yet it is an installation of a whole bunch of digital images entitled the Dancing Cedar Series. And similar to Sung Sung Blue, where the chords are kind of dancing and swaying, in this particular series, all of the colors are related to the Phelps Youth Pavilion and the Waterloo Center for the Arts, which is right next door. That's a part of their kind of branding, but more specifically, all of these pieces, all of the colors, all of the curves are kind of in reaction to the Cedar River and how it fluctuates and like how it swells and sways as far as during the snow melt, as well as rainy seasons. But ultimately, it's about the River Loop Amphitheater. It's about all the music and all the activity and fun that happens here. As the artist of this piece, I want it to be more of a celebration of all of the liveliness that happens here. And, of course, leave it up to interpretation.
Well, I want to thank you, Sean, so much for taking us through some of the many artworks in downtown Waterloo.
And thank you, Rachel, for having me come in and give a little bit, just a small piece of insight and story behind all of these wonderful works. I mean, Richard Thomas's mural has so many stories that's in it. Sung Sung Blue is like the energy and the dance. And of course, celebrating our heritage, like Waterloo being the birthplace of our First Lady, Lou Henry Hoover. And of course, we can't forget about the epic quill. I mean, that monumentous, like, piece that's in downtown Waterloo. You know, hey, art is everywhere in Waterloo. And I hope today, or even in the future, for people that are looking at this video, it's like, look, all of the symbols and all the stories are coming from a wonderful imagination of artists, but they're artists just like you can be. So later on in our future, even sometimes even next year, there's going to be so much artwork that's going to be on display. But there's also hidden gems around nooks and crannies and on sides of buildings and very unexpected places. So definitely be inquisitive of our environment. Public art is everywhere. So I hope that our future, we'll have artwork by you.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean.